Welcome to Jamie TV, streaming 100% live on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm just activating my chat here and skipping the ad to watch myself, which always seems a little bizarre to me. Thank you for joining me. Today I am going to be showing you Rhino. Now, you may be wondering, if you watch my videos regularly, you may be wondering, Jamie, why are you doing Rhino again? Because I already did a couple of videos with Rhino. I did a video when the desktop version was released, and in that video I did also use the iOS beta version. Hi Sam, hi Jade, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, I used the iOS beta version in that video. Now, in that video I give a complete walkthrough in lots of detail all about this app. So in this video today I'm not going to try to do all of that. I just want to kind of show you some sounds, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to dial in a couple of tones myself. Now, I have a couple of codes to give away. In fact, I have 4. I'm going to give 2 away on my Patreon account, and I'm going to give 2 away to people who comment on this video. I'm only going to leave the video open for comments for 1 day. Well, I'm only going to run the competition for like 24 hours. And then I'm going to choose 2 winners to win codes. So, what I want you to do is to name the presets that I make in this video. And I will choose the best 2 names for the 2 presets. So, yeah, like I say, in this video, I'm not going to try and go into every single detail about Rhino. I just want to kind of dial in a couple of sounds, let you hear some of the tones, and most importantly, I want to show you the new features. The reason why I'm doing this today is because it's just been released for iOS. And there are a couple of things to show you that weren't in my first video, because those features didn't exist in the desktop or beta iOS version at the time. So I started there with a few chords playing this jazz breakup preset, which is, I can't remember which person who's contributed presets made it. Oh, it's there, look, but Johan Martin. There are no presets in this by me yet, right? But I've made a lot of presets for this app, so I'm going to see if Aurora DSP will include them, because I think that would be really nice. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to show you the new stuff, right? So most significantly, one of the things that I felt maybe just let this software down a little bit when I did my first video was there were not many presets at all. Now, this app is capable of making a great number, all kinds of different sounds. It is actually very, very versatile. Like Jade says in the chat, it's fantastic for extreme metal, but it's also great for clean sounds and all manner of sounds in between. I'm going to try and show you that today. So I felt that the presets were just, there was a couple of sort of ambient clean kind of sounds, and then just lots of dirty sounds, nothing in between. There are now several contributors in here that have provided new presets, and there are a lot to choose from. Some of them are really, really excellent. So we've got, this is a good one, Cutting Solo, right? You know, for your massive big standing in the spotlight stadium rock stuff, we've got Shreddy Spaghetti. That's pretty awesome. There's loads. There's some great stuff to choose from in here. There's just one more I wanted to show you, and I can't remember who made it. This one I liked. Right. Yes, it does work quite nicely on synths. I've not done loads of stuff with that because that's not really entirely my bag, but yes, I have tried it and it does work great. Hi Nutty, thanks for being here. Right, so this is the Rhino button. Now, this is one of the features that wasn't in the original version. If I turn this Rhino button, what this does, this is connected to various parameters within the app. It's not revealed exactly what, right? Peanut Cram, thanks for being here. It's not revealed exactly what. It's kind of a bit of a secret sauce button. So, what we do, turn it up a little bit. A bit more. Now listen to what's happening when I hit those lows. Right, this is fully cranked. Right, so it sounds pretty awesome. I'm not entirely exactly sure what it's doing, but it's really, really nice for if you are kind of pissy-panting around with your guitar sound and you're trying to get it to sit in the mix. This really, really helps. And it's also really cool for just discovering some new sounds very, very quickly. So I'm liking this button. I'm going to turn it down and I'm going to show you how we dial in a beautiful clean sound, because one of the things that I've said this before in videos, right? I'm going to say it again because I think it's really, really important, is the way that Aurora DSP present their software is it's a very metal image. It's a very, very metal presentation, and their stuff certainly is excellent for metal, and metal is still massively popular, so it's probably no bad thing. But in a way, they're kind of doing themselves a bit of an injustice because their apps do other stuff as well. So I've seen that people who have tried to dial in clean sounds with Rhino have struggled a little bit. It's not that they struggle to get clean sounds, it's that they struggle to get them loud enough. So I'm just going to show you how I do it, right? So we've got a dirty sound right now. Now Rhino is divided up into modules, and each one of these modules will pop out. So what we've got is we've got the input module, the preamping module, power amp module, we've got modulation and delay and reverb, then we've got EQ, and then we've got our output section. Each one of these will pop out if we just touch it top right, and then we can see it more clearly and we can get to all of the features. If I go to the preamping module, now up here on the right hand side there are 4 little dots, and each one of those little dots represents an amp model. I can't remember what all of them are. It's all in my the first video I did on this. And if we just scoot through them, you'll notice a rather different character appearing for each one. And the first one is the closest to clean. Now I just switch off this screamer pedal, because this section over here in the preamp module is basically a set of pedals, right? We've got sort of a screamer pedal here. We've got the brute pedal here, which is great for dialing in it's sort of like it changes the EQ in a way that's very suitable for djenting instruments, right? Your low down tuned stuff, which is very, very difficult to mix, I find. Hey Mick, thank you for joining us. Now we've also got a fuzz pedal, which is very, very nice, and a very basic compression pedal. I'm going to turn off the screamer, and now you'll notice I have very little volume. There are a couple of things I need to do here. I need to press in this bright button, and then I need to go to the compressor. I'm going to dial in a very small amount of compression, very subtle, and then I'm going to bring that into my mix and make sure it's not too crushed. Maybe just a little over the top. Okay, now that has brought my volume up a little bit. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the output stage, bring the volume up there, and also bring the limiter down a little bit. Okay, now we've got a clean sound, a very basic clean sound, but a clean sound that is of an acceptable volume. There's a better word for that, but I can't remember what it is. I have no idea what it is. Right, now drive. If I bring up this drive, this is kind of like how much breakup do we want on the front end of the amp. If I bring this up to somewhere just over 4 and I dig in when I'm playing, you can hear that it's starting to break up. This is a sound that I would use a lot in the kind of tracks that I like to make. You can hear that it's got that kind of, you know, sort of breaking up old Fender front end kind of a sound. It's very, very nice, very, very usable. So if you're looking for kind of like a bit of a rock and roll bluesy kind of a tone, or something like a kind of a thing, we've got it. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I don't want it to break up, but I do want it to sound like it's been played through a real amp. Here we go. Right, now I'm going to show you, if I go to the input stage, this is this input stage is of great value when you're dialing in a dirty sound. It's not so great a concern for a clean sound really, but I'm just going to change this character here over to smooth. So right from the input stage of the amp, Rhino is giving you things that change the character of that particular module to best suit the kind of tone that you're trying to create. So I've changed over to smooth. We'll look at some of these other features a little bit more when I am doing the dirty sound. Now we've got a gate here, and you'll hear that it keeps cutting out what I'm doing, which is what it's meant to do, but I don't want it to do that on my clean sound. I moved it all the way in the wrong direction. Stupid hippie. Okay, right. Now, the power amp stage is really clever. This is very nice. We've got some parameters that we can alter here to change how this power amp, to change the character of the power amp, and we've also got 3 presets to choose from here. So do we want like a studio sounding power amp? Do we want it completely flat, or do we want it to have more of a live character? Now it's set to live at the moment. Studio is kind of a tighter sound, and flat is flat. I'm going to go with studio for this sound. Now what over here we've got some impulse responses, and you'll be pleased to know that you can import your own. This is not that commonly found in this kind of software on iOS, but Aurora DSP have it nailed. The way this works is, imagine that this circle here, imagine this is a speaker, and imagine that this dot here is the microphone. Now, for each quarter of this circle, so imagine it's divided up into 4 slices of pie. We have a set of impulse responses for each quarter to choose from. Now, they are named, interestingly. They're not named things like the name of the microphone and what day it was recorded and naff things like that you find all the time on impulse responses. They're called things like blazing or warming or, let's see, cutting. Things that describe the kind of sound, which I think is nice. So we can choose between them for each quarter of this circle. So if I put my mic up here, turn up the guitar, that helps. Switch over to buried, and then blazing. Move my mic a bit. Right, and I can check out a sound for the other quarters, and then I can find a blend between those sounds that I like. There are packs of impulse responses, so you can just simply go, well, I just want to choose a pack that's suitable for cleans. It changes them all for you, and we've also got a pack for rhythms, leads, and then there's a custom pack. And under each of these sections here, there's a little plus where you can go to your files and bring in your own impulse responses. So really clever section. I'm liking that as it is. And I'm going to go to the modulation section. I've forgotten how to speak. Well, it's still early. It's not even dinner time. Now I'm going to go with chorus. Everyone knows I love a chorus. And I love a big, spacey, slow chorus. But I'm just going to show you what this chorus is capable of while I'm pissy-pantsing around with it. So I'm going to drag up the feedback here. And now the rate. Just to show you that it can do extreme and ridiculous. Alright, so if you want mental, we've got mental, and this applies to the flanger and phaser as well, which I may not get time to show you today, but we'll bring the time down, the rate, we want really slow. And that's how I like my chorus. Maybe a little more in the mix. No, that's too much. There, that'll do for me. Right, now, the delay and reverb. Pop that section out. Oh, and I should mention, by the way, that each of these modules, if you want to bypass them, if you wanted to kind of do an A/B test, was it better with the effects or without? You know, is it better with the EQ or without? In the top left hand side, there is an on-off button for each module. Now, the controls and the text in this app, they are all a little bit small. I was a little bit concerned about how to do this video today because everything is a little bit small because there are so many features to the app, but I do like the fact that they've kept it all on one page instead of you know, having to go through lots of pages to get to all of the different features. Everything's on one page. So it's easily accessible, and I think that's done with maybe the idea in mind that people might want to use this live. So the modules popping out and being bigger is superb, and that's why I'm set up a little different today, just to get things a little closer to this screen. I wanted that module, why did I close it? Right, now I want some delay. We can choose between echo and delay. Echo, delay. Now let's go. We've got classic, slapback, and ping pong, and I'm synced up because I'm going to play this to the track. But we can take sync off and just dial everything in by hand. I'm going to use sync. And let's see, 8s or 16s maybe. Right, I can bang up my feedbacks there. Okay, now let's compare what that's like to the echo. Set the echoes to 8s. Yeah, Mick, I think that's a good point. I think there is a bit of room on the interface for those sliders to be a little bit bigger. I think that would be a nice little improvement. It's a superb app, but that would be one of those, you know, just a little detail that it would help for live use, certainly. Right, now which am I liking best? I think I like the delay best. Do I want it to ping pong? No, I don't want it to do that. I'm going to stick with classic, and we're going to add some reverb. Now we've got classic reverb, or we've got convolution reverb, and we can import our own impulse responses into this. So a classic reverb. Bring it up in the mix. All the way in the mix. Let's increase the width of it. Size. Right, now we can damp it so that we can hear, so that it will duck the reverb down a little each time I play a note, so that the note stands through the reverb a little bit more. I'm moving the wrong thing. Let's bring the mix down. Right, or we can have a convolution reverb where we can bring in some different impulse responses. There's a mega wide one here, which is nice. But I think for this sound, the classic is quite adequate. Right, now, the EQ section is really, really clever. There's a tone matching section over here, which I'm not going to be looking at today, because that's a whole different thing that I maybe should get into in a different video, because it goes a little deep, and I've actually only tried it out on the desktop. I've not had time to try it on the iOS version yet. So now for the EQ, we can select 4 points across the EQ where we'd like to put a thingy, you know, a notch, a thingy. And they're actually already set to key places where guitar EQ can be troublesome. So we've got we can choose between different kinds of curves. So this one here, see, we can choose all kinds of different curvatures. He said, creating words as it goes, and then we can move that curve across, and we can increase and decrease it. I'm just going to do this a little because I just want to lose a little bit of that low end. Not as much as that. If I just put this over to show you what I mean. Don't want too much of that. I want to just cut out some of that low, because I'm going to play this guitar sound over a track that has a lot of low end to it. Okay, I think we're all right there. And then I like that. Okay, that's pretty close to what I had kind of in my head. So now I've got this track, and what I did this morning was I just put in a few notes into BeatHawk, into the what's that pack called you can get in BeatHawk, the sort of dark themes. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I don't still have BeatHawk open because what I did was I used BeatHawk and I used frames just to create some background sound and close them out because I didn't want to be hogging the processing power. And I also used Drum Computer to give myself a little bit of something to play in time to, hopefully. So we've got a sound from frames here. And then we've got a sound from BeatHawk here. And then here we've got Drum Computer, which I used Beef on that, and I used the Bliss Reverb, and on BeatHawk I used the Spark Verb. Right, so that's all been frozen down to real audio, so it's not taking up any processing power. And just down here, this is just my MIDI that I decided to save in case I wanted to work on this track further later. All right, so it works quite nice as a nice clean big ambient wash kind of a sound. It also works quite nicely as a little sort of clean lead. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can record a little of that in, and then we're going to do a dirty sound. So, if you're wanting to win one of the codes I have available for Rhino, then you need to be either throwing into the chat or commenting below the video if you're watching this later, if you're watching this after the fact. I want a name for this preset. I'm also going to need a name for the next preset that I'm going to make. So I'm then going to choose the best preset names to win a code for Rhino. There are also 2 codes that I'm going to give away on my Patreon account. So I'm just going to very quickly go into Rhino and press up here on the tuner. Oh, by the way, did you know that Rhino can be it can be this shocking bright white, or it can be night mode, whichever you prefer. It sort of is night mode by default. Also, you can up here switch it to mono, which I think is a fantastic feature. Not for this sound, maybe. Now, I don't think that was actually in the original version. I could be wrong, but I don't think it was. Right, so let's go. Hey, Joe, thanks for joining us. Oh, and hi, Alex. Thank you for being here. Yeah, my moderator is here. Don't worry, Joe. We've not had any problems today. In fact, I don't think we've ever had any problems in any of my streams. So let's just go. Oh yeah, no, I completely lost my thread. You see, it's my age. Right, check your tuning before we record, eh? One thing that this app doesn't have, it doesn't on the tuner have a mute button, which is one of the things I really like about the way that the tuner in ToneStack Pro works. It's nice to think that if you were going to use this live, you could pop out your tuner, press a mute button, tune silently, while the singer's wobbling on and on about something, you know, usually wobbling on and on about himself, you know. Clean hippie. Okay, that's a start. Yeah. Any advance on clean hippie? Okay. In case you're wondering what the Rhino button would do to a clean sound, I'm just going to turn it all the way up. Bring it down a bit. Magic. It's a magic sauce button, and we like that. Okay, let's go over here, arm record. Now, I don't have a counting, do I? I don't have a counting. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to drop my drums back by no, I'm not. No, I'm not going to do that. Ignore me. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to wing it, because it doesn't really matter about hitting these chords exactly on the one, because it's sort of, you know, a washy, ambienty kind of a thing. And it's not that I can't be asked. Mod Wash 1. All right, now I think that'll do for now. I think, I mean, I've got lots more of that track there, but I only need about, I only need about a minute's worth for demonstration purposes. So let's just make that come to about here. There we are. Okay, so what do we think to that sound? Is that, is that something that you expected Rhino would be able to do? Is that a surprise to you? Because it's certainly not advertised like it's excellent at this sort of thing, but it's really, really good. Okay, right, now I'm going to need a new track. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go in and I'm going to save this preset, and I'm going to just call it number 1 for now until I choose a winner, right? Okay. We'll get rid of Rhino, add a new audio track. We'll call this one Git 2. And we'll add Rhino again. In Vortex's streams, he always mentions the fact that it would be really, really nice in Cubasis if we had a little search bar to search for the app, because, when you've got as many as I seem to have acquired now, it takes ages, scrolling up and down looking for the... And the thing that happens to me a lot is, especially in live streams, is I'm looking for an app, and I know exactly what app I'm looking for. I know what it looks like, I know what it sounds like. I can't always remember what they're called. Oh, Doug, thanks for being here. Nice to see you, dude. And Nina, thank you for joining us. Okay, so I've added another track. I've put Rhino on it. I forgot to turn the volume down a little bit because when Rhino opens up, the default sound is a bit of a loud one. Right, now, what I'm thinking for this sound is, right, I'm going to leave this off the first half. So I'm just going to have this nice, right, I'm just going to have this nice played slightly out of time, ambient, clean guitar sound playing over this backdrop. And then the second half, I've got this idea that maybe some big crunchy chords could come in, just staccato, just kind of like. I don't know exactly how I'm going to make that work, but it's just an idea. It might be dreadful, but the sound that I make is the important part, right? So let's get on with making a new preset, right? So this is preset number 2. I'm still taking, for the next 24 hours, I'm taking comments in the chat or the comments below the video if you're watching later, names for these 2 presets, right? So, so far I think maybe the best one we have is Clean Hippie. Right, so this is your default sound when you open up Rhino. I wanted something just kind of a little bit more, I don't know, maybe just a little bit nastier perhaps. And with some reverb on it. But this is already kind of in more or less the right ballpark. Now, I'm going to use this sound to show you a few things. So, right on the input stage module, if you change this over to hot, you'll notice it already makes a difference to that sound. I'm going to show you how effective this gate is by taking it all the way off, right? So that's pretty nasty, isn't it? Nobody wants to listen to that, you know, while the singer's wobbling on and on about himself. Now, if you're playing some extreme metal stuff, or if you're playing some, you know, Metallica type riffs and whatnot, that's really, really cool. Clean Hippie is not an oxymoron, by the way. Oh dear. Right. Now we've also got on this input section as well as this really, really effective gate, which to be honest, it only takes a little bit of pissy panting around with to get it set nice. You can also change the attack and release time on it. We've got this roll off for the low end, because you know when you're mixing guitars, when you're mixing a track that's got guitars and bass and real drums in it, I've found one of the most common problems that I've encountered has been that guitars have far more low end on them than we really need them to have, because, you know, we've got the bass guitar for that, and rolling off that little bit of low end right at the very start here is a really, really useful thing. Now then, we've got over in the, well, let me just show you this sound. Right, so if I turn the screamer pedal off, that's what this amp model sounds like. And let's just bring up the drive on that amp. Right, so this amp model, when you do that, gets a bit fizzy. But if you leave the drive back, well, actually, let's just put in the headroom button. Right, doesn't get fizzy as quick, but it still is a bit fizzy. So if you leave it a bit cleaner sounding and bring in the screamer pedal, right, now we're talking. Let's add some more gain to that screamer pedal. It's GB Core. Thanks for joining us, dude. Right, that's what I want. I want it a bit nastier. That's better. Right. Okay, now my power amp stage, I'm going to go with a live sound because it tends to be just a little more open sounding. Yeah. And we're going to add some reverb. It might be a tiny bit much, eh? There. Maybe... Now, I will say, the reverb in this app does sound really, really nice if you're for certain sounds. If you are doing like the big ambient clean sounds, you can get some really, really nice reverb sounds in here. And for metal stuff, for all the sort of chunkier rock stuff, great. For the kind of sounds I tend to use more, I've been tending to leave the reverb off and use Eventide Spring, which is my favorite reverb for getting sort of old school, classic sort of sounds like a guitar amp type reverbs. I use that on so many things and I just think it's magic. Right, okay, so we've got a sound. Oh, hang on. We've got a sound that I like. Let's just see what this sound will be like with a bit of Rhino Button dialed in. Ooh. Yeah, maybe just a little less. All right, let's just see if this idea of mine is going to work. No, I've still forgotten something. I need to save this preset. Okay, so I'm going to call this one number 2. Does anyone watch Umbrella Academy? I think it's one of the finest things that's been on TV in years. If you watched it, you'll know why I'm asking. Right, so let's see if this idea of mine has any legs. Right, okay. Let's find where that bit comes in. It's probably after 8 bars, I think. 2, 4. What chord it was. Right, okay. They're more or less there with this idea. Yeah, it's good to know what chords you're playing. All right, let's see if we can make anything of this. Okay, I had this fantastic kind of idea in my head of what this would sound like, and I'm not really quite there, but maybe you can sort of see what it is I'm going for. Maybe you can't, maybe it's just shit. All right, I'm going to do that again. I don't like the sustain chords. I'm going to do this one more time, and then I will start to round up this video. So let's just erase that track there. I want to keep it simpler and more staccato. Okay, that's much more like what I was going for. So we'll ignore the rest of the track. I'm just gonna undo what I did there. Right, okay, so this is the part that this is what I was after, just this section here. Because these little things that are doing these kind of videos, if they're good enough, if they turn out alright-ish, then I can use them for one of those, you know, YouTube shorts or a TikTok or something for nobody to watch. All right, so I hope that I've shown you that Rhino is very versatile, and while it might look like there is an awful lot to it, there are a number of modules and a lot of things to pissy pants around with. It's actually quite easy to dial in something that sounds awesome, and I think it's a sign of a good app when you're not sort of struggling to make it sound good. It's just it feels like every change that you make sounds good. I just kicked over a keyboard. It's only a keyboard. It feels like every change you make still sounds good, just different. That's a sign of a really good app. And I can see me using this absolutely loads now that the proper version is available on iOS. So before I round up this video, I'm looking for 2 names for the 2 presets that I made. I need Grime Hippie. Now that's good, right? That's a contender. That's good, right? Ripped Pants one. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to be going through the chat tomorrow, around about this time. So I'm going to give it about 24 hours. I'm going to go through the chat. I'm going to go through the comments below the video and select 2 winners. When I've selected winners, I will... now, everyone in this chat, I think I would know how to contact directly anyway. Anyone who comments below the video after the fact, I will reply. If they are a winner, I will reply to with a comment to say that they're a winner. I will then need you to have your alerts for YouTube switched on so that you are notified that I have commented, and so that you will know to send me an email to collect your code. All right, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it about 24 hours. Right, so thank you everybody who has watched this stream. Thank you for being here. It's nice that so many people have joined at this time of day, because normally when I stream at this time of day it's a bit quieter. So thank you for being here, much appreciated. If you haven't done already, please give me a thumb up and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you've dinged my bell so that you get alerts when I'm uploading, when I'm streaming and all that stuff. And if you would like to help out the channel, all the information about how you can do that is down below the video. Yes, I remembered to paste it in there this time. There's my email address down there. There's my PayPal ME. There is where you can get my merch, where you can check out my website, where you can join my Patreon, listen to my music, all that stuff, right? So thank you very, very much for being here. I'm just going to play out with this track. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Keep making lots of music and try not to pissy pants about. See you later.